Hello guys, welcome to another video on this channel. It's been a while since I've released my express course for beginners. So if you've not watched that, you can check the description of this video. I'll put a link to the video to the playlist. So in this video we are doing something different entirely. I'm going to show you guys how to get started with TypeScript, how to set up TypeScript on your system and start writing TypeScript codes on your system. So let's get started. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is going to open up my terminal and navigate to my desktop. Okay, so where I'm going to create a folder and just call it TypeScript. Right. And I'm going to cd into that folder. Now, the first thing we need to do before we start writing TypeScript is to install TypeScript on our system. So, in this case, I'm going to install TypeScript through npm, and that is what you should do on your end also. So, I have npm install TypeScript. Now, TypeScript can be installed as a global package with npm, so that's why I threw in this G flag to it. So I only have to install TypeScript once, then that's all. I don't have to install it for every project that I'm creating. All right, so let's run this and see what we have. Though I have it installed already on my PC, but I'm just going to do this over again just for the sake of you guys. Alright, I have an error from npm telling me permission denied. Now, I said this in one of my previous tutorials where we're dealing with npm, that if you're installing a package as a global package in through npm on a system like a Linux or a Mac PC, so you have to throw in the sudo flag. So this is a script you have to run as a super user, so you can throw in the sudo command there. Then let's just type it out all again. So sudo npm install TypeScript. If you're running on Linux or on Mac, then this is for you. So I forgot to add a G flag. Just going to do that, train the G flag again, and then it's going to ask for my password, and now it's going to install. So the super user access is needed to install a global package through npm. So whenever you are doing this and you get this kind of error that we have up here, then you should know that that is the problem that we're having. So all we need to do is add a sudo command before here, and it's going to prompt you for a password, and once you supply a password, then it's going to install it. As you can see, we have it installed right here. Cool. I'm just going to clear out my terminal. Now, if you're running this command from a Windows PC, then you might not have this issue there, but if you're running on Linux or on Mac PC, then you might you're most definitely going to have the issue. So just throw in sudo as an extra command, so it's going to run the script as a super user. So that's let's open up this folder in VS Code. We have TypeScript installed globally as a global package, so that is pretty much all we need to do. So I'm going to open up this folder in my text editor, which in this case is VS Code. So you can launch a VS Code from any folder by using this code, then period keywords. So this opens up this folder directly in VS Code. So we're going to have that open any moment from now. Okay, so we have a VS Code open up right here, and the folder is also open up in the VS Code. So the first thing we want to do is come over here. As you can see here, we're in a TypeScript folder. I'm just going to increase the font size of this a little. Alright, so we have a folder open in VS Code. We have the TypeScript folder open, So the first thing we need to do is to create a TypeScript file. So I'm just going to call this hello world.ts. Now a TypeScript file needs to have the TS extension that stands for TypeScript, just like a JavaScript file has a TS extension. Alright, so we have our TypeScript file created for us. So let's just write some basic TypeScript code. I'm going to say let my name cherry. To show that this TypeScript, let's be much more specific and specify the type of the variable, so which will be a string. Okay, so string name equals cherry. Then I have a function that takes in with a name, say hello, that takes in a name of the type of string, and returns nothing, so we can say it returns a void. So I'm just doing all this type check to let you know that what we are writing here isn't actually JavaScript but TypeScript, so that when we compile this, you are going to see the difference. So here we're just going to say console.log, so the log whatever name is passed into this function. So here, this is pretty much everything I want to do, and here we're just going to call say hello say hello, and we're going to pass in my name. All right, so just FYI, all the rules, the type checking and everything will occur in this file. For example, if I create another variable here, for example, let something something equals to 10, so this is automatically a number or a numeric variable, and let's say I pass that into my function. Then right here I'm going to get an error instantly. Now I should get that. Right, so it marks it as an error for me. Argument of type number is not assignable to a parameter type of string. So yeah, that means our TypeScript now is checking for our types, and every rules have been applied right here. So we have a valid TypeScript document. So I'm just going to pass in my name back as an argument here, and yeah, we're good to go. So now to run this file, and one thing is we cannot run a TypeScript file on its own. We have to compile it back to JavaScript. So your browser or the terminal only understands JavaScript, or can only execute JavaScript files. TypeScript file, on the other hand, is just a superset of JavaScript that is written to add more rules of type checking to JavaScript. So we still have to compile it down to pure JavaScript code. So now, how do we do the compilation? Yeah, I have my terminal opened up right here in VS Code. So all I have to do is tsc, then the name of the file, hello world.ts. So by doing this, I'm telling TypeScript to convert my TypeScript file to JavaScript file. Alright, so we have it compiled. If you look at our documents, our folder here, you can see we have a new file called hello-world.js. Now, as you can see here, we have hello-world.ts, here we have hello-world.js. So that means it's still going to use the same name that we have for our JavaScript file. Now, if we open up this JavaScript file, you're going to see that this is just pure JavaScript. We don't have any type checking or type declarations right here in our code, but the checking is being done right here now in our TypeScript file. Now don't mind these errors. It's because I have this JavaScript file open. If I close this JavaScript file, the errors are going to go away. As you can see. So yeah, that's pretty much it. When you do tsc hello.ts, or use tsc with any file, any TypeScript file you want to compile, it creates a JavaScript equivalent of it. So if I make any change to this document, for example, let me delete this variable. So I still have to compile it again with tsc hello.tls and run that again, and that's going to recompile and give me the changes that I need. So okay, now as you can see, we do not have the number, the variable, the second variable declaration anymore. So that is it. We have compiled a TypeScript down to JavaScript. Then we can now run a JavaScript file by just saying node then hello world dot js. All right, so that will run. As you can see here, we have the expected output right here in our console. So that's pretty much how to get started with TypeScript on your PC. And there's also one more thing I want to show you guys, or some few tricks I want to show you before I end this video. Now, you can also work with TypeScript on a folder structure. So you can create a folder. For example, you can have a folder here. It's src, and I'm just going to move my TypeScript file into the folder. So now my TypeScript is inside the src folder, and I'm going to delete my JavaScript file from here. So let's say I'm in a project and I have different structure, different folders for my work. So I have a source file which contains my TypeScript code, but I want to compile it down to another folder, or a separate folder, probably a public folder, or another part of my file structure. My first thing we need to do is to create a file, a configuration file for a TypeScript called the tsconfig.json file. So to do that, we type tsc then init with two hyphens in front of it. So by doing that, it creates a tsconfig file for us. Now when we open this tsconfig file, we can see a lot of things being generated for us. Now I'm just going to go through a few of these things just to show you. You don't have to know what everything does. You don't have to memorize everything that we have here. So you just have to know some few things that are very important for us to get started with. Now the first thing here is the target. Now we know that JavaScript has a lot of versions out there. We have the ES versions, the ES5, ES6, and the most recent ES12 JavaScript version. So you can pretty much change the version of the JavaScript that you want to compile to right here. So you can change from ES5 to ES6 or ES2021, or whichever version you want to use for your compilation. So that's one important thing that we have to know here. And there are also other things too that okay, so first is the root directory. Yeah, the root directory is also very important. In our case, just like I said, you might be in a working project folder structure. So you might be in a folder structure for a project you're currently working on. You might have a structure like this, for instance, an src folder that contains all your TypeScript files. So in that case, you need to specify, you need to tell TypeScript the folder that contains or that serves as your source folder. So this root directory is more like a source directory or source folder for us. So in our case, it's /src. Now this path has to be relative to the tsconfig file. So wherever this tsconfig file is in your document or in your project structure, you have to make every other part that you use in here, you have to make it relative to this file, because this is where TypeScript will look at whenever it's trying to run or trying to compile or trying to execute any document. So yeah, we have the root directory, which specifies the directory that contains our source file. So, and also we have the module resolution. So if you're working with TypeScript in a Node project, you might want to uncomment this. So uncommenting this will help you or assist you in using the Node modules for your importing of packages in TypeScript. All right, so we also have things like allow.js, check.js, and some other things. You can go to the documentations for TypeScript and which I'm going to leave a link to in the description of this video, so you can visit the documentation to also read about some of these configs. And also another thing we want to also talk about is this out directory. So like I said, the root directory is like the source directory, while the out directory is like directory that contains, or that's going to contain, all your JavaScript files. So in this case, I'll choose to call my dist, just have a folder or a directory for this. Now you don't have to create this output folder. TypeScript will do that for you automatically. Now before I go on, I just want to also point out some other configurations that you can use in this document. So we have the remove comments. This remove comment, when you uncomment this, set this to true, it makes sure that TypeScript doesn't compile or add your comments to your compiled JavaScript files. So it skips the comments. Every comment you have in your TypeScript file, you might find it, and if you're working on a very large project, it helps you minimize your code size, and also helps also with the compilation time. So we have the import helpers too, which can be used along when you're working on a modular project. So if you want to import and help export files using TypeScript, then you can also use this. This is very helpful. So that's it. We also have tons of other things to configure in this file, or to use in this file. Like I said, you can always check the documentations to know what each of these are used for. So all right, we've set our root directory and we've set our output directory or output folder. So now let's run this file again. Just this time around, we are expecting it to create a new folder for us that's going to contain our JavaScript, our compiled JavaScript document. So to do that again, we can run tsc, and now we don't have to care about the folder that contains our tsc file or our TypeScript file, because we've already specified that in our config file. So we are going to do tsc, then a /, then w. Now tsc with sorry, I said /, that should be an hyphen, not a /. So tsc -w tells tsc to watch this file actively. So there's our TypeScript compiler to actively watch this file. So whenever we make changes, it automatically applies those changes. So yeah, if I do this, you can see it starts the compilation for me. And if you can see here, I have a new folder called dist or distribution. So this file contains my JavaScript file. So if I make any change to this document, let's say I remove this function invoking, now it's going to automatically apply that for me in my JavaScript file, as you can see here. And if you notice, we no longer have the errors that we previously had before we used the tsconfig file. So and everything is working cool. So I'm just going to add this code function again, and that's in my name. All right, so now as you can see, we also have it here and it's been applied for us in real time. So I'm going to create a new open a new terminal and just run this file. So node, in our case, to not just be node hello.js, but to be node dist / hello.js. So as you can see, we still have the expected output. So and that is all that we're going to talk about in this video. Hopefully in the future, I'm going to make a more comprehensive video on TypeScript and show you guys how to use TypeScript. But in this video, that's just pretty much all we need to know. So how to configure TypeScript to start working with TypeScript on your system. Also remember to leave a like and also subscribe to this channel if you've not done so. I'll see you in the next video.